what are the common issues that you usually face during UART communication? And for our viewers, what are the tips and tricks for debugging these issues when it comes to UART connections? Yeah, Sean.
Okay, so for like troubleshooting of UART communications, like if you are connecting UART, like firstly, if you are connecting correctly pins from the UART to the device, and then if we can check the garbage data, gibberish data in our serial monitor, then there will be a baud rate mismatch. Sometimes what they do is like keeping the lower baud rate like 9600 and the 4800. So as per the company standards what they are keeping, so there is a range of baud rate, so 115200, but the company depends upon the company what they are keeping. So because of that, the baud rate mismatch problems occur. And also if the baud rate is correctly, and also if we are not see the data in the serial communication, there will be an issue of wiring. Like if we are connecting the RxTX, and also sometimes what the vendor do is like they are just removing the tag of the pins. Okay, so RX, TX, GND, VCC and multiple test pins are there. So from that we are analyzing, and then if we are having a wiring of the test pins, then there will be a problem. Like if we can detect the problem correctly of the test pins or not, then that's the problem because of the wiring issues. And if we are coming overview with that, so for that wiring issues we need to check with the multimeter and then oscilloscope. From that we need to check whether how much power it is inserting, and also from oscilloscope, so we can check the RxTX how it is taking the data and the receiving and then transmitting the data. For the GND and VCC we can check through the multimeter by continuity test and then voltage voltmeter. So these are the process we can come over through from the wiring. But for the baud rate mismatch, we need to check all the baud rate from 9600, or also we can go for the lower version also 4800 through till then 115200. So we can check all the baud rates, and from that all the baud rates we can have an access to it. And then once the data is in the human readable form, then the data will be the baud rate problems will be solved. So these are the troubleshoots when we are connecting the UART to the device. So these are the common problems occurs when we are connecting the device.
Nice. Now let's talk about the future of UART. That's probably the last slide, I guess. Yeah. What are the emerging trends and innovations and potential challenges and opportunities in this space?
Mm-hmm. So now what the industry is working is like healthcare components. Okay, mostly healthcare components are used in the medical and then in the hospital itself. So sometimes if somebody is using some TTL, USB or some other whatever the device they are taking along with them, and they just insert it through the device itself, and they can have an access to the whatever the device of the patient's data and whatever the device root shell access, whatever the password keeping. So in the medical devices are bigger, and also they are more costlier. So that's why there has to be a back end backdoor UART, JTAG, so that they have a communications whether where it is the problem occurs and then how can they resolve it. So that's why they are keeping the serial communications. And also if you can see the drones for the national security or somewhere else, so if you can check the drones also, then they will be they are keeping for the troubleshooting purpose RF challenges already there because of that HDR software defined radio. Because of that they are securing more and more. But in the protocol part they are keeping the test pins UART, JTAGs mostly untagged only. So because of that we can have an access to the device, and we can dump the firmware from that firmware, we can analyze each and everything so that we can have an access to that device. We have an vulnerabilities in the firmware. If it is there, then we can find it out, and then we can have perform it with the other drones also. So for that, like UART pins are already there in the devices. And also for the security, for emerging integrations in the IoT devices, the UART is compulsory. And if you are want to secure it, more challenges are coming secure purpose, right? So for that challenges perspectives, if vendor are approaching to the UART, then at the end, if they are supplying it to the consumer, then before the supplying, so they has to be a cut off the disable the UART pin sections. So that's why because of that, the consumer and then whoever attackers are there, so who are working on the researcher part and then ethically, non-ethically, so they will not have an access to the UART section. Because of that, they can't have an access to the boot terminal, kernel terminal, firmware. So they will whatever the firmware is running in the device, live firmware, they can have an interaction if the UART is not disabled. If the UART is disabled, they can't have an access to the firmware. If they can have an access to the firmware, they can go for the SPI, eMMC, and then flash ROM. So there will be a no live firmware. Because of that, the encryptions is more like PGP encryption, SHA-256, 512. This encryption is already there. But if they are going for the live firmware, then there has to be a UART section. If it is disabled by the vendor for each of the devices, then they will be more good for that. Because of that, these are all the challenges they are facing, and UART section is to be more improved. And also for the root shell access from the UART only. So what the vendors is do, previously we have also found the vulnerabilities in LB-Link. So what they keep is they kept the firmware password and then root shell access password default only. Because of that, we directly interact with the root shell access. This is very frustrating to the users. Because of that, the data are leak over that. And also we can have an access to the whole the firmware and all the file systems of the device. So these are the challenges faced by the vendors. And also because of these overcomings, they can disable the in each of the device by disabling the pins of the UART, and they have an easy access to the device.